Walter Voigts von Forster, head of non-life at Munich Re Africa, recently joined a thought-provoking panel at the AIE Conference titled Precision Underwriting, Redefining Risk in a Data-Rich World. The panel explored how advanced data, AI, and technology are reshaping traditional underwriting. In this conversation, we dive a bit deeper into the insights shared and hear Walter's reflection on the conference experience. Welcome, Walter. It's great to catch up.
Morning, Renette. Great to have you. Thank you.
So let's start with the panel discussion. What was the core message you hoped to bring across during the session on precision underwriting?
Drop everything that you're doing on IT, stop to focus all on AI. A little bit exaggerating here, but in our view, the use of AI in insurance is rather underhyped than overhyped. And whoever gets on with it now will have a competitive advantage, and that's what people should go for.
It feels to me that there's a lot of conversation and a lot of focus on it. And what I'm hearing from you is probably not enough, not fast enough.
So much to be gained out of this, that it is really worthwhile exploring this and utilizing it fully. We're not saying it will absolutely revolutionize the industry, but there are so many things that we've always struggled with, in particular on unstructured data that the industry has a lot of, that finally AI is providing a solution to really get our heads around it and use that data properly. If I may give you 3 use cases there that we're doing on our side that really showing great results so far. So the first one is on data intake. A lot of the data that we have is in loss reports, is in claims reports, is in surveyors things, is in broker notices that are in PDF, that are understructured, and it takes a lot of manual work to extract data there. Large language models can extract that data immediately and answer the key questions to you without you browsing through hundreds of pages of PDFs. A similar thing that we think is a great advantage that we can take use of is checking clauses and wordings for guidelines, extracting certain parts out of contracts and having a first go whether these contracts are in line with what we want to do or not. There's a real advantage that the underwriter can then focus on assessing those key clauses rather than reading through, again, lengthy documents. And the third pillar that we are working on is risk assessment. If you have a huge portfolio of hundreds of thousands of risks, and you want to know which of these companies in this portfolio are linked to opioids, are linked to PFAS chemicals, to sexual abuse, to product recall, you have normally no chance of finding that out. But somewhere in the internet, there might be those answers, and we can train our AI models to run through all of these company names and see if we ask AI, what does the internet say about this company versus that risk, we can gain some valuable insight and then hone in on those.
Before we go to the next question, I really see a whole refreshed look at something that was quite challenging for long, and that's policy wording, right? Mm-hmm. We can make it a lot easier for our clients using AI, right?
Well, for the policyholder, the end consumer, they typically get fairly standardized policies anyway from insurers. So there it is, the onus is on insurers to provide good, clear policy wordings to them. Whether that is through AI or not, I'll leave it to the primary insurers to judge. We on the reinsurance side, however, we have such a vast array of different contracts. Every contract is different, and that's where AI can help us weed through that.
The panel touched on using new types of data like satellite images being used in underwriting. Where are you seeing ways in how this is incorporated into new insurance products?
Yes. So the biggest way there is really for agricultural insurance, where we see the opportunity to have a real impact on closing the protection gap. And the reason why that is that satellite imagery can give us information on what fields, crops, and pastures and the like look like in a real-time way, in a good way. And that's where index insurance products really come in. Index products that allow you on a much faster scale, on a much more transparent scale, with far less overhead, provide insurance products that help close that insurance gap by basically providing something that is not traditional indemnity based, but to just say, did it rain a lot or did it rain too little? Was there hail? Was there not? And you can, by visual images, quite easily assess how crops are doing, how pastures are doing, and then provide insurance products that work in a much better way, an entirely different way than the traditional one did.
Any other areas except for agri that you are using that?
There's, of course, always the post-natural catastrophe, trying to assess very quickly what are the damages, what is the likelihood, what is the extent of a flood, for example, what is the extent of a hurricane or a big windstorm and the like. So it is for quicker loss adjusters. Where do we need to send our people? Where do we need to help first? Who might be our affected policyholders? But that is, so to say, for very specific events in case of a claim. On creating a product to get it out there, it's really in agriculture where we see the best use case so far.
Okay. And what role does Munich Re play in helping insurers adopt these emerging technologies and tools in a more practical, scalable way?
So firstly, what we do is we share use cases. We share with people, this is where we see a great application, and this is how we're doing it ourselves. We share with people also frameworks of how to set these things up. There's a big legal framework of what should you be look like, and that might not be the exciting part, but it's really important that you get that part right as well. And we give examples of what products we can create, and at times we co-create also with our clients of new insurance type products. Maybe what we don't do, we're not a tech consulting firm. So we're not the guys who will help you sort out your tech. That's not our strength. Our strength is really how do we use the tech in insurance and give guidance and co-create with clients to do that.
Walter joined you on the panel.
There was Keith from the FSCA, from the Conduct Authority, and Lian Celia from Santam. Keith had a few good points there to say all of this is great, but we must really be careful when adopting AI that we don't discriminate, that we treat customers fairly, and that's not a given. Yeah, you might say, yeah, obviously we need to do that, but if you rely in assessment of risk on tools that have been trained on the internet and all the biases that might come out of that, it's a really important component that we think about. Let's make sure that we get that right and don't create discrimination in our product offering in an unwanted way. And it was great to hear also from Leon, the head actuary there from Santam, of the whole pipeline of ideas and products that they are working on. I think it's amazing, all the things that are out there in the industry right now, all the possibilities. I think there's a lot coming through and will come through over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think you are right. You started with AI and its role and how it's impacting us and how we should move much more towards that. And I think you are right. And I think it really opened our world with a whole new lot of opportunities and innovations coming our way. Walter, what was your overall impression of the conference this year? And why do you think gatherings like this really matters for the industry?
I really enjoyed being at the conference. I thought there was good energy, good vibe. The high attendance was great. We as a reinsurer, we go there primarily to meet people, to meet clients. But for me personally, I think the greatest value is also to meet people you'd otherwise wouldn't meet. So I typically interact with insurance and reinsurance brokers, but to meet stakeholders that are otherwise in the industry, to meet peers from the industry, conduct authority and the like, that you would normally not have the interaction with. And you have the opportunity there to have a coffee and a chat and exchange some contact details. And post the whole event already, I've had a few people contact me and say, you know what, is this not something we should work together on? So I really enjoyed the conference. It's a great
there's so much value, and that's do you say you had a good balance between attending talks and networking?
The networking is probably the higher focus of us. So we attend a few talks and we do a lot of networking. That's what we're there predominantly for. But both of those pillars are really why one needs to have a conference like this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's really, I assume you attend quite a lot of conferences worldwide. How did that compare with some of the others you've seen?
What I think this conference benefits from, it is always at the same place. So it really works in that place. I've seen other conferences that move from town to town, and then there's always some teething problems being in a new place. That's kind of the real value of Sun City. Everybody knows where to go. We all meet at the same bar in the evening because we all know what that bar is. And that is great. And kind of it's fairly easy and it works seamlessly. And it is great to also see how the conference organizers have taken on the feedback over time to ensure that the conference works for the various people who are joining it.
100%, and I agree with you. There was at some point rumors about, or questions, should we not move it to Sandton to make it a little bit more accessible for other people? But I think your comment on Sun City is good. It is at the same place, and the reality is people will quickly go to the office when they are in Sandton or somewhere else. So having it also a little bit separate from the house and the bus of Sandton and whatever really makes it that we use that time to its full extent. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Great conference. Walter, thank you for your time. Any message to the FAnews audience? You know, we deal with the whole industry, brokers, insurers. Your last message?
No, we're always interested to engage. We're always interested to use platforms like this to share ideas, to see where there's opportunity to collaborate, to tackle the challenges that the industry has. So thank you for having me this morning, Reinhard.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you for a great chat.
Thank you.